Hey everyone, Tara here. Today we're going to be doing a quick guide on elemental absorption. Certain Anemo characters have abilities that have elemental absorption as a mechanic. Elemental absorption occurs when that ability comes into contact with pyro, hydro, electro, or cryo. Geo cannot cause absorption. When absorption occurs, it will then cause additional separate damage of the absorbed element. Elemental absorption does not directly cause swirls. It only applies the absorbed element to an enemy, which can then be later swirled when the Anemo portion of the ability hits that same enemy. This can be very useful in many combos, such as setting up elemental auras on enemies to swirl off of, causing sustained chain reactions, or allowing other party members to consistently react with the sustained auras. Currently, the abilities that have the elemental absorption mechanic are Sucrose's Burst, Venti's Burst, Anemo Traveler's Skill and Burst, and Kazuha's Burst. First off, let's look into what actually causes elemental absorption. Absorption occurs when the ability comes into contact with an entity affected by an elemental aura. This includes your active character, in addition to enemies and environmental objects such as water and campfires. For example, this means that you cannot directly cause absorption by attacking Sucrose's Wind Spirit with an ability that applies an element. You must either apply an element to yourself and pass through the Wind Spirit, or apply an element to an enemy that is close enough to it. Some deployables can also cause elemental absorption, such as Guoba and Baron Bunny. Guoba gives himself a Pyro Aura whenever he does his Fire Breath attack. Baron Bunny can only be given a Cryo Aura, unless it's raining, but we don't talk about that. Oz cannot cause absorption. For this reason, characters that have a way to apply an elemental aura to themselves are great for consistently absorbing the element you want. Barber's elemental skill applies Hydro to the active character intermittently. Beto's elemental skill applies Electro to herself on use. Bennett's elemental burst consistently applies Pyro to the active character standing in its area. Diona's elemental skill applies Cryo to her briefly upon creation of the shield and onto whichever character you swap to for the duration of the shield. Razor's elemental burst consistently applies Electro to himself throughout the duration. Qingchu's elemental skill applies Hydro to himself briefly. Chenyan's elemental skill applies Pyro to herself on use and onto whichever character you swap to for the duration of the shield. You can also cause absorption by firing a charged arrow precisely through the Wind Spirit. Pulling this off is actually highly impractical though, as the arrow must be fired at an almost pixel-perfect location to cause absorption. It also does not work with cryo arrows for whatever reason. Mihoyo, please. I'm only including a mention of this for the sake of completion, but it isn't advised that anyone should actually utilize it. Now you may be asking, what happens when there are several different elemental auras present? The answer is that there is a hard-coded priority for which element will cause absorption. For Venti and Sucrose, the order is Pyro, Hydro, Electro, and then Cryo. So, for example, if you have many enemies present with each of these auras in range of the ability, it will always cause Pyro absorption. Anemo Traveler has a different priority, which is Cryo, Pyro, Hydro, and then Electro. For Kazuha, his priority appears to be the same as Venti and Sucrose. That's all for now, everyone. We will be showcasing several elemental absorption combos in future videos, so please look forward to it. As always, if you like this content and want to support it, please drop a like and subscribe. If you have any questions about elemental absorption, just leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.